Press Start to begin.
Hello everyone. Well, we're starting off a bit late tonight, but better late than never. It appears I have located and found the solution, or at least a temporary solution, for my streaming card, which has still been giving me issues all week. I think the problem is I changed something that I can't remember what I changed, but for some strange reason it is telling me I'm trying to send data too fast. So, it looks like I've got it finally stable. I've been working on this for about the last hour and 15 minutes, so like I said, better late than never. Today I hope to finish up my stream of Crash Bandicoot. I'm going to be doing Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped. This is the original PlayStation 1 version. This is actually the first Crash Bandicoot game I ever played. So, you know, when I first got my PlayStation 1, it was in 1999, and the first game my brother got for it was Need for Speed High Stakes, and then I got A Bug's Life for PlayStation, which was pretty fun. But the next game I remember getting is Crash Bandicoot 3. My parents liked it because it was cheaper, so they didn't have to spend as much on it, because it was a greatest hits title at the time. And I can't believe this game is already 20 years old. That's something that, I don't know, it just seems crazy when I think about it. The Crash series itself turns 22 this year. Got its remake at 21. I'm playing the original version, not the remade version. And if I'm correct, I also turned off the enhancements, so this should be playing at least very close to what it was. I know the PlayStation 3 that I'm playing it on is upscaling it a little bit so that it takes up the entire screen, and I think it's got smoothing on, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, as I said, better late than never. Let's go ahead and get started with the stream. I'm going to go ahead and get the cutscenes going. I'll join you guys back again when I start.
Press Start to begin.
Free at last. Uka Uka is free. No, it cannot be. Evil, great evil has come. None have dared to fail to break Uka Uka even once. But you, Cortex, you have failed me twice.
Great Uka Uka, it was that infernal Bandicoot.
From deep inside my temple prison, I sent you simple instructions to follow. But you lost the gems, you lost the crystals, and I have lost my patience! There is now no other power source left on this planet.
I know we've had a few unfortunate setbacks.
And failed! But since your bumbling has managed to set me free, I am feeling generous. There is still a way for us to amass the power needed to enslave this miserable planet. And this time the great Uka Uka will make sure that you do it right!
After many eons, my evil twin, Uka Uka, has been freed from his underground prison. Long ago, I locked him there to protect the world from his malice. Now, free once again, he must be stopped. Children, Uka Uka and Cortex plan to use this time-twisting machine to gather crystals that lay scattered across time. I have brought you here to recover the crystals before they do so. To open the time portal, simply stand on a button and then jump into the portal. Good luck.
Alright folks, we are back. I didn't really want to talk over the cutscene because I really enjoy the opening cutscene of this game, so as I said in the comments, that's my favorite out of the entire franchise. I just realized I'm not going to fit the whole thing in there. Create a new game save here. Yeah, as Nessology was saying in the comments, yeah, those, it makes me feel ancient that this game, how old this game is getting. Of course, it was probably time for a remake when they did it. But yeah, I remember, I can't remember if it was this game or if it was Crash Team Racing, but I remember...
Crash, 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 why must you always muck in my mud? Oh look, I have a mask helping me too. We will find out which one is more powerful soon enough.
I really like the cutscenes they have in here and the trash talking they do. But anyway, I remember getting a demo disc for either this or for Crash Team Racing from Pizza Hut. And I remember begging my parents to let us go to Pizza Hut because they had demo discs for PlayStation games. And if I also remember correctly, I think that's the first time I tried Final Fantasy VIII. Definitely Spyro the Dragon. It might have been Ripto's Rage at that time. So the goal today is the same as every other game that I've played in this series so far. I'm just going to try to get through the end. I'll probably get a few more gems and maybe a couple relics if I feel like it as we go through it. And I just remember playing this game series backwards. I always thought like the games kind of devolved a little bit because I played this game, then I played 2, and then I played 1. But I mean, look at how open this game is. There are no levels like this in Crash Bandicoot 2. And I remember that was their big kind of finish for the franchise, is they wanted to create the most open world possible, at least for the Crash engine, and they did a good job. But this was also the year, I don't know if I've said it yet, but this is the first year that Spyro also hit the scenes. And again, that was something that nobody thought was possible on the PlayStation platform, nobody thought they could do an open world 3D platformer just like they used to do, or just like Nintendo was doing. So that game broke the mold a lot, and so did this game, just because they were changing things. So I'm making a couple of adjustments here. So I may not talk as much in this because I'm actually going to try to focus down here. So before I played this game, I mean, I guess with the exception of Need for Speed and Bugs Life, the first and only 3D game I had played up until then was probably Doom 2 on the PC, but on consoles, Star Fox probably. So as you can imagine, this was a huge upgrade from what I was used to, because we had a Super Nintendo and a Sega Genesis, and that's what I was playing up until I played this game. Of course, Need for Speed was kind of a... I think that's a franchise that I think they could do with an HD remake of their originals, because I feel like that franchise has changed a lot, and some of it for the better, but some of it they kind of lost what I used to like about the Need for Speed franchise. I don't know if they're trying to become more simulation-based, but I kind of like those old arcade racers where you can crash into a tree and your car just kind of skips through it. But anyway, these levels are actually my least favorite. Oops. Because as colorful as the first level is, I kind of felt like this level was a step back or something. So I always try to get the gem my first time through this level when I go to beat it again. I try to get the gem too, so that way all I have to do is get the relic when I'm done. And I'm done with this level for good. The colors are a little bit more washed out. It's not as bright or vibrant. And there's another particular style of level I don't like in this game, but I put this one a little bit worse because at least those levels are visually. I'll tell you what those are when I get to. There's a way to avoid doing this, but I didn't feel like doing it there. There's a way you can use a shortcut to cut through it. It's also weird to think how much the PlayStation 1 controller evolved while the PlayStation 1 was out. For an example, I remember this part uses the force feedback for rumble. But I remember this part uses the force feedback rumble, which was not the DualShock, which was not available in the first PlayStation controller, and it also utilizes the dual analog sticks, which also came out the year that this game came out. So yeah, when the first PlayStation controller came out, it was really similar to a Nintendo controller, except for they had the thumb grips and you can grab on the controller. But yeah, the dual analog sticks weren't originally out with the original PlayStation. A lot of people tend to forget that these days. So I'm going for the gem in this level too, that's why I just messed up twice there. I was actually going to be impressed if I got the gem on the first round. I really like how they added Coco to the original 2 Crash Bandicoots, that she's using the Time Twister machine to help her brother out in the previous 2 games. I thought that was a neat concept. I think whoever thought of that deserves an extra gold star in their picture.
Ooga Ooga and Cortex want Tiny get crystals and bring them to Big Colosseum in Rome. Crash! Leave them for Tiny, or Crash get crushed!
I actually like these levels a lot more once you get the speed rush. The speed run. But these are not as challenging as the first two. I think they did a good job with this one, with balancing out the difficulty. But when you speed run the Triceratops, you can't catch up to it. There's always a level right at the beginning where you can't get all the gems right away. Slowly introducing you to the concepts that were in the previous games, but if you started out with this one like I did, you're not used to everything. Hello, Nick. How are we doing tonight? I'm doing much better tonight. You might be able to tell that I got my streaming card working again, at least for the moment. I don't want to jinx it, but it appears I've got all the settings working out. And we'll see tonight if it's correct. That was also why I was a little late getting things started. But it should pay off. I actually spent this morning assembling IKEA furniture. I got a new dresser and a new TV stand for my living room and a couple of cabinets, and I've been slowly just dreading the process, so I've been kind of stretching it out for as long as possible, but today I'm starting to put the dresser together. I got as far as getting everything unboxed, and then I was like, yeah, that's good enough for today. I really like how they added the total number of boxes you can get. I didn't realize that they didn't include that in the second Crash Bandicoot. I thought they did. In the first Crash Bandicoot, they don't even let you know until you finish the level, and I guess they thought that was not fair enough, so I guess they added the total number of boxes you have in the middle of it. Now these are I call them my second least favorite levels in the game. And the reason why I call them the second is because I really did like I just really like how these levels look. These are, I think, by far the most graphically impressive levels they have in the game. And I remember way back in the day when we were trying to judge how good the graphics of the game were, we'd always look at things like the water. Let's see how realistic the water looked. And I think this was probably the most realistic any water looked on the first PlayStation. Oh! Did not mean to. See, now I gotta be extra careful so I don't hit it with anything else. I didn't even get the gem for this level too. I may have gotten the gem for every single level in here. Yep. Oh, I know. That can take forever putting a key together. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm being a bit melodramatic about it, but the dresser is the one that's really going to take some time. It's got, I think, 48 pages of instructions. So...
Crash! Coco! Store the pretty crystals! Tiny, take them back! In Gladiator Arena!
I really do like the trash talk they do in between the loading screens. It really doesn't make it seem like there's a long loading time. Now, has anyone else noticed this with the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy? Has anyone else noticed that just the loading times on that game to me just seem a tad long? I know now I'm not used to any game really having a loading screen to sit through, like they usually try to disguise it with, traveling time or something, like in Final Fantasy 15. I always enjoy Chinese boss battles. Oh! I didn't hit it quick enough. So my game capture device does introduce a slight lag, and it's a little bit challenging to hit the buttons at the right exact time. So you see me make those little silly mistakes. Of course, it's never my fault. It's got to be something else. I got to be very quick on the buttons. Press it just slightly before I think I need to. There we go. Got him. I think this is the first game that introduces abilities after each boss, isn't it?
Well done, children. By defeating Tiny, you have unlocked the gate to the next time travel area. Go back to the center of this time twister and save your progress if you wish. From there, you will see that the gate to the second time travel area is now open.
Yeah, I don't know, it's just, I don't know, maybe I'm just an impatient person like that, but sometimes I feel like just in the Crash Bandicoot game, the timing on the loading screens just seems a bit long. I guess that's because I'm used to something either occupying my time. But I guess that's the age we live in now. We want everything exactly right now. We can't wait more than a... What is that threshold that software is supposed to hit? Or if you press a button and it doesn't do anything, I think it's like... I know it's shorter than 3 seconds. It's got to be if it doesn't do it almost immediately.
Why must you continue to be a thorn in our side?
What? Where was I? Tiny was a good fellow. He hated everyone and everything, but a good heart nonetheless. Please be more reasonable with my minions next time.
I remember it wasn't until just recently that I discovered that Clancy Brown was the original voice of Dr. Cortex. Who I think is he Mr. Krabs in SpongeBob? But I know him as the... Whoops. But I know him as the one of the bailiffs in Shawshank Redemption. I really like these wizards. I think they're probably the most underutilized enemy in the entire game. You only get to see them a handful of times. I like how even the goats are minions of Neo Cortex. You gotta get rid of the goats. Clancy Brown, the voice of Neo Cortex, he's a voice actor. And he's also an actor in a couple of movies. Like I said, I know him as he's the really tall bailiff guy in The Shawshank Redemption. He's the one who buys the beer for everyone on the rooftop. Not giving away too much of the movie if you haven't seen it, but hopefully you guys have that on. And I know he does a voice on SpongeBob, but I can't remember. I think it's Mr. Krabs, I'm not sure. Believe it or not a fan of the SpongeBob show. My niece and nephew grew up watching it, and I don't know, I never got it. As I'm sure my parents don't understand my fascination with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. DuckTales and Tailspin. I like how the wizards don't even try to hit you when you're invincible. It's like they know something. Oh, it's still hit. There's sometimes when I can go for it. That won't hurt me. I also like how they made the bouncing fruit boxes in this one are different than all the rest of the games. They make it to where you get 2 fruit each time you hit it, so you only have to hit them 5 times to get all the fruit, instead of, try it. Oh! I don't always get that. In fact, I rarely, if ever, get that. But you can tell they were always constantly fine-tuning things with each sequel on this one. LOL, every day, yeah. That is 6 gems in a row. I don't know if this game is actually just easier, or if it's because I've played it so many times. Because I must have beat this game at least a dozen times before I played Crash Bandicoot 2. And there's the Crash dance. I actually haven't even noticed yet, since I did get the Insane Trilogy, I want to say maybe a month or two ago, for the Switch. And I didn't even think to check to see if the loading times are any better on the Switch or not. I've kind of delayed playing it on the Switch because I just basically bought it for portability. Where I'm out and about and want to play Crash Bandicoot, okay. Because I believe the only Crash Bandicoot I bought for the PSP was this one. I actually bought the digital download so I can play it on the PSP. But now I don't think I can buy the original Crash Bandicoot trilogy anymore on the PlayStation Network. I haven't looked for it, but I think right before the Insane Trilogy was announced, they took it all off of it. I don't know if they've added it back. Yeah, Nostalgia popped in a little bit to say hi. Don't know if he's still around. I still see there's a couple people watching, but one of those people could be me and you. As I said, I started a little bit later than I wanted to, but as I said, better late than never. I've got to believe, because of all the things that Insomniac and Naughty Dog kind of unofficially collaborated on, I've got to believe that Insomniac helped Naughty Dog with designing these bigger open levels in the version. Because as I said, if you look at Crash Bandicoot 2 and Crash Bandicoot 3, 3 is much more open. And in my opinion, that's one of the reasons why I think Crash 3 is the better game. I know a lot of people want to say Crash Bandicoot 2 is the best. I mean, in all honesty, they're probably just splitting hairs. I mean, they're both really good, but I don't know, I still think 3 is a lot better. That is 7 gems in a row. Oh, it's just me and you. Hey, I don't mind it. I'm just glad someone's popping in at all and watching this stuff. Instead of, I always tell people if I can just reach one person, Makes it all worth it, right? And other than Rings of Power, or Rings of Flight, or whatever that level is, I think these levels are usually the hardest, because you gotta get first each time. And the handling on these bikes are just a tad atrocious. I actually find myself using the D-pad on the controller a lot more, because I have better control over the bike now. I never try to go for the gem and the crystal on this level at the same time, because it's so much easier just to go back through the level later on, go through at your own pace. You don't have to get first, thank goodness, to get the gem. Yeah, Crash 1 is pretty good, but I like Crash 1 from the perspective of playing the series backwards. Because I think it's the best way to play the series, because the series gets more difficult the farther back you go. If you start at Crash 1 and then go to Crash 3, I think it gets easier. So I think, to me, from that standpoint, it makes a little bit more sense to play the game series backwards. Because I think 3 is the easiest, and then 2 is medium.
Mates. Dingo Dial's the name, and Uka Uka and Cortex gave me orders to bring the crystals to them during the Ice Ages. So give me the goods and shove off, or I'll roast yous.
And that kind of raises a different point for me. How do you watch the Star Wars series? I remember being asked this question. Actually, this was a poll on the Wii when they used to have that Everybody Votes channel. The Everybody Votes channel used to have a poll question on every week, and it would have people vote on it. And then once a week, they'd tally up the votes and see which one won. And one of the questions was, what is the proper way to watch the Star Wars series? At that point, there were only 6 movies. They said, do you watch 4, 5, and 6, and then go back and watch 1, 2, and 3? Or do you watch them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in order of their episode number? And I don't know, at the time I answered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I've noticed something. Anyone who I've introduced to the Star Wars series with episode 1 started out not liking it. Because, I don't know, episode 1 is just... I like episode 1. I know I'm probably one of the only few who like it as much as I do. But if you're just starting out with the series, episode 1 is probably not the best way to start. So I'm probably more in favor now of starting with like episode... go 4, 5, and 6, and then go 1, 2, and 3. But then somebody also said, watch episode 4 and 5, then go back and watch 2 and 3 as a prequel, skipping 1 entirely, and then watch episode 6. And I don't necessarily agree with that, only because skipping episode 1 is... I don't think you should skip one. But what is the best way to watch Star Wars? If you have an opinion on it. And I'll tell you what the poll said, because I remember the results. This was back in 2008. Back when we never thought we were going to see another Star Wars movie again. Come on. That was so easy to do. Episode 1 was the best out of all of them. You know what? I don't know if I go that far, but I remember thinking when it first came out, I mean, everyone was just really excited to see a new Star Wars again. Kind of like with Episode 7, the same thing happened. And then immediately after, people started picking it apart and saying, oh, it wasn't as good as we thought it was. And I say, I don't know, I had the perspective of...
What have we got?
Can't get there yet, but... I had the perspective of seeing episode 1 at a younger age, and a lot of people said, oh, well, if you were younger when you saw episode 1, you'd like it better. I don't know. I definitely did enjoy it, and I think it has one of the best lightsaber battles up until Obi-Wan and Anakin. Ooh, that almost threw me off the cliff. Because a lot of people seem to forget that Darth Maul was introduced in Episode 1, and I think he was one of the best villains the entire series had next to Darth Vader. He was a very worthy successor. I think he was better than Count, I kept calling him Count, a variation of Dooku. That meant maybe you had to go number 2. You know what, I'm not going to get those boxes until I have the bazooka. Those platforms always give me a I forgot what level I was in. I'm already on level 10. If I remember correctly, this level was the one on the demo disc I played from Pizza Hut. I think this is what made me want to go get Crash Bandicoot altogether. Oh, I missed that. Timing's just a tad bit off, so as I said, there's a slight delay in my capture card. So my timing's just a little bit off at all times. But I'm not doing too bad tonight. I think I'm getting used to it because of playing the first two. So if I had to go through and rank my favorite levels in Crash Bandicoot, I would say Crash Bandicoot 3 has most of them. Crash Bandicoot 2 would have a couple. I really like the sewer levels in Crash Bandicoot 2. Remember how the movie for that reason. Yeah. So remember how the movies were made and the order, there was a reason for that, yeah. So he wanted to go 4, 5, and 6 and then go back to 1, 2, and 3. But a lot of people didn't know he was doing that when he made the first one because the studio made him cut out the episode 4 part. And I like how Family Guy made a stab at that going, he goes, here's a story of Star Wars. Let's start with part 4.
Right. Now you've gone and done it. Them crystals are mine.
Crash Bandicoot 2, though, has a few of my favorite levels. Like, I really enjoy the sewer levels. And then Crash Bandicoot 1, I really like Hog Wild.
Break out the butter. We're gonna make toast.
But other than that, Crash Bandicoot 1 was just more challenging, which offered a kind of a better gaming experience for those who like that. I gotta listen to his footsteps. I count the number of footsteps and when I know when he's about to stop. not a big fan of 6C, and when I was younger, I remember 6 being better than it is. But it does have what I think is one of the most unbearable scenes to watch in a Star Wars movie. And that's where Luke comes clean to Leia about a shocking incident. Of course, if you haven't seen it by now, it's probably your fault, but trying to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. And I think that entire scene where Luke and Leia and the Ewok Force talking about, you know, their heritage and everything, I really just, I don't know, it's just, for me it's hard to watch. I don't know if it's just his delivery or what, but it's just, I don't know, there's something about that scene I just don't like watching. But it does have the advantage of introducing lightning. Speaking of lightning cannons, did you ever play Dark Forces 2? Star Wars Dark Forces 2 was probably one of the first LAN computer games I ever remember playing on. And the reason why I mention that is because I remember it was the first one where multiplayer you can go around with lightning cannons and hit people. So I always try to do that as much as I could in that game. Yeah, Star Wars Dark Forces 2. I played that on PC. Gosh, it's been years and years ago now. Probably when we had Windows 98. But I didn't own it for the longest time. I actually ended up borrowing it from one of my friends, and we played it at a LAN party. But that was the first multiplayer Star Wars game I ever remember playing. And I ended up picking it up years later, just about four years ago or so. I got Dark Forces on GameCube.
Well, haven't we gotten far for a pair of fuzzy marsupials? I am Dr. Nefarious Tropy, master of time and creator of the very time twister machine you see before you. Uka Uka and Dr. Cortex have sent me to end this little charade, so you won't be leaving my area with the crystals. I swear it.
Well, then I was trying to think, I think the next one I ended up playing that was multiplayer was probably Battlefront. The original PlayStation 2 Battlefront, not the... There we go. Got my double one. Favorite move in the entire game. I really like these Bandicoots that have not evolved yet. I don't know why they make me laugh every single time I see them. But that was back when, whenever you wanted to play multiplayer, you pretty much had to be in the same room as everyone else. My first online connection was not until I got a PlayStation 3. At that point in time, I remember playing Resistance Fallen Man multiplayer. That was my first console online multiplayer game. I mean, yeah, there were some tricks that you could do with the original Xbox to try to get the first Halo online, but that was kind of a pain. I also like this guy. I can't think of his name. I know he's probably got a name, because every anime buddy uses it. But I can't. Sorry, my thoughts are kind of all over the place. I'm just kind of going back and forth between Crash Bandicoot and Star Wars, it seems like. But the reason why Star Wars was even on my mind was I saw they announced that Disney is actually announcing that they are going to be more cautious and basically plan kind of spread out their plans for Star Wars and not make them as frequent. Which, for Disney, I think is a huge leap forward. I don't think Disney has ever paced themselves with any of their franchises in the history of them. I wanted an RPG MMO Star Wars game for console, where we can make our own character. Oh yeah, definitely. I would love to see a massively open RPG-style Star Wars for a game console. I think, I don't know, it's just, it seems like the video game part of Star Wars was a huge afterthought for Disney. And I don't know, I mean honestly, I don't know how the first Battlefront got made for PS4 and Xbox and all them, the modern Battlefront games. I mean, I guess I'll take what I can get because first-person shooters apparently are the only games that make money these days, so they don't want to try doing that. But I would think that with the success of Final Fantasy 15 and something like they remade Morrowind and the Elder Scrolls 6, whatever that's going to be coming out, I think, I don't know, I think they should give it a try. I definitely agree with you on that. Is that the pterodactyl I was supposed to run into? Let's get to the secret bonus level. But then again, since they partnered with EA, of course they had to have the, you know, you can level up your character or you can just pay for it. Whoever has the most money becomes the best of the game. That loot crate controversy and everything. I actually avoided Battlefront 2 for the longest time. Something like Phantasy Star Online or Final Fantasy 14 World Reborn. Yeah, believe it or not, I have not played Final Fantasy 14. It's been out there for so long, I kept thinking I probably should, but... Phantasy Star Online, though, that'd be good. But then again, I gotta be careful what I wish for, because if I actually did get it, I don't know how much time I'd have to devote to that. Yep, this is the one where I get the spinning tornado I don't know if this level is the easiest to program, because I thought for the life of me, for all of the levels they could have ported to the PlayStation 2 version, why these underwater ones? And they had, I think, a few of them. I don't know if they had a lot, but I remember in the Wrath of Cortex they did have a few of these levels in there, and I remember thinking, why do they continue with these levels? Ooh. I think I heard him start to pop up, so that was definitely close. I don't like PvE. It's too much. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Whenever I get this thing, I'm always the mindset of shoot first, ask questions later. That I think should be fruits. Alright, so I can finish the level, or I can go back and let's see if I can go back. You gotta tell when I keep my finger on the joystick, or my thumb on the joystick, I don't swim it straight. Graphics on this game are amazing. Oh yeah, I agree 100%. And again, when I look back at the tech specs of the original PlayStation, and I see what they were able to do with this, I don't know how they did it. I honestly don't. Something like 33 megahertz, about a megabyte or two of RAM, a special... Barely can hear you game loud. Oh, sorry. Let's see if I can fix that. Turn maybe my commentary up a little bit. Possibly. I was also aiming towards the TV instead of talking towards the computer. So, sorry about that. Turn the game audio down just a tad. Yeah, let me adjust this stuff and I'm going to talk. Just a little bit lower. Yeah, sorry, I was aiming towards the,
So, you pesky little rats aren't going to back off, eh? Just to continue to gather crystals and see what I do.
Yeah, when I talk towards the TV instead of towards my laptop, I'm a little bit soft, I'm sure. There you go, perfect. One thing I'd like to invest in eventually is like a little lapel mic that I can wear. The problem is the one I currently have picks up the controller more than it picks up my voice, since I have it close to where my voice is, or where my hands are, where I hold my controller. I initially got that lapel mic for my iPhone so I could... No! I was too impatient. But now that I have an iPhone that does not have a headphone jack, I can't use an external mic on it unless it's Bluetooth or something, so eventually I'll try to get that replaced. There is a YouTuber that is out there. He is one of the leads, or either he is the head honcho. He works for Traveler's Tales, and he has a channel called Game Hut. And I really enjoy. He has a series on there called Coding Secrets, in which he kind of goes through what they had to do to get the best graphics, the best sound, the best performance out of some of the older consoles. And my favorite ones so far have been the ones for the Sega Saturn, because that thing apparently was a huge pain to program for. I've heard that and I've read that from several sources online, because of how different that console was designed as opposed to like the Sony PlayStation or the N64. And he does a really good job of going through and explaining it. I hope he does more videos like that, because he also did some videos for... Oh, I forgot how to get that. You know what? It's always better to come back and get those with the bazooka. I don't know, maybe one day we can team up on a stream. I wouldn't mind that. Actually, I was gonna say I just got my membership to Nintendo Online, so I was hoping to eventually start getting a friends list together so we can play some either some NES games or maybe some Mario Kart or something online, and then do a live stream of that. I'm definitely not opposed to the idea, but like I said, it's few and far between when I can actually plan a date that can stick. Because of working 2 different jobs, I don't know what my schedule is going to be. So, but I'm definitely open to that idea. My all-time favorite console was the Dreamcast. Oh yeah. The Dreamcast, I thought, was very well designed. They definitely did a better job than the Saturn. They tried to make it as user-friendly to program for as possible. But the problem was, I mean, Sony... Sony did to Sega what Sega had done to Nintendo. I mean, they just out-marketed them. And I think it's kind of weird that Sega kind of fell victim to that, because they were the ones who did it to Nintendo, and they really didn't know... Oh, this is going to be close. Yep. Because I remember, it was, you know, they released the Sega Dreamcast on 9/9 of '99. Again, that was 19 years ago. And then the very next month, PlayStation had a whole page announcement in a PlayStation magazine about how the PS2 was going to beat it. It wasn't even out yet, but they said, you know, hey, if you buy a Dreamcast now, you're just going to be wasting money because you'll have to buy a PlayStation 2 later no matter what. Don't own a Switch. Really? You know what? There's a lot of the people who I usually game around here, they actually don't have a Switch. And I was kind of the first in my area to, at least I'm the first in my group of friends to adopt one. Then again, most of the people who I hang out with in person, they say they don't have time for video games, but I don't think they enjoy them as much as I do. But you do have PlayStation, right? And here's another crazy thought that I just thought of. I saw somebody get their Dreamcast online using a Raspberry Pi or an Arduino board or something like that. And they said it was possible to get it online, and they had to do some crazy shenanigans with it to get it to connect to like the modern internet. But I'm wondering, are there still games that you can play online with your Dreamcast? What, even with setting all that up? I bet you there are. Because I would be interested in trying to get that going. Because I do have a Raspberry Pi, if it'll work like that, and if it can be stable. I guess the only thing I'd be missing is how do you hook it up to your Dreamcast from the Raspberry Pi? Because they just came with a... Do you have to have a broadband adapter, or will it go through the phone yet? because when I got my Dreamcast, I actually got it from a friend who no longer wanted it. It's probably back in like 2009-ish. And I told him I was into, I don't think we called them retro games at that time. I was just like, you know what? I told him I had a Dreamcast once that I got from a garage sale, but it... Oh, I'm not going to go first in this race because I'm talking. Yep. I'm also used to the insane version where I think they get the handling down a little bit better, but it is different. Yeah, I'm gonna have to redo this level. So Phantasy Star Online is still on Dreamcast. You can still play it. That would be interesting. I'll have to see if I can figure out how to get that back online, because I would definitely love to try to play one of those games online. I'm actually hoping to, in a planned episode, and it hasn't gone past the planning stage, but I hope to do an episode on LAN games on the PlayStation 2, and which games you can still play LAN-wise on a local connection that are still fun to play with your friends. In my last, one of my last retro gaming find videos, I actually showed where I got my second PlayStation 2 that I hope to network together. But I'm sure that there's still online games that are being supported on the PlayStation 2 still. Yeah, if you do get a Switch, definitely recommend. I mean, the Nintendo Online, yeah, it used to be free, and it's kind of, I think it's a little bit, I don't know if you would call it bait and switch. Oh my goodness. That was poor timing. I don't know if you call it bait and switch, but they started with free, and then they said, oh, eventually we're going to charge for this, and we're just at the point where they're going to charge for it, so. But I think one thing that makes it worth it is finally being able to play regular Nintendo games online. So if you do get a Switch eventually, that would be something I would recommend. I haven't been able to do it yet because I think you have to have a friend code. One thing I would like is if you could just match up against random people. Kind of like what you do in Mario Kart or virtually almost every other online game. Oh, come on. This game is very unforgiving when you miss. Oh yeah, I forgot. You can only restart when you're in time trial mode. I know I'm not going to win, but I still have to finish the level. I don't even know if I'll get second. Probably not. Nope. Most online Dreamcast games, if you go on YouTube, it's real easy. Most of the old Dreamcasts are still online. Really? See, I've seen someone set it up, but he didn't go through, the person I watched did not go through, like, what games are still available. So, Like, is Unreal Tournament on there? That was a game I played a lot of. In fact, funny story, at my high school, one of our classmates discovered one of our network administrator's passwords, and he was able to hack into his account and install Unreal Tournament on the network, and so every computer in the district then became a client machine for Unreal Tournament. So I remember playing that a few times. Well, that worked out a little bit better than I thought. Better timing here. timing there. Alright, I got time. Ah, he knocked me in. I just lost right there, I think. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna win this one. I noticed that the less I talk, the better I do in the game. One day, right now, still trying to get an N64 cheap. Yeah, that's a tough call. If you don't have an N64 versus the Switch, well, the N64 is going to be cheaper. The games might be a little bit cheaper as well. But I'll tell you one thing I like. Most of the N64 games that I originally played when I first played them.
Well, you've crashed a few parties before, but I never expected you to make it this far. If you don't turn back...
I will inflict 1,000 years of suffering on you and the entire universe!
Sorry, I just don't like talking through the cutscenes. One thing with the N64 games that I had, oh, I love these enemies. And I really like this. I'm just gonna... That is one of my favorite death animations ever. I just like it, sorry. Okay. Whoops. Okay, I should have been paying attention. There we go. I really like that death animation. But anyway, most of the N64 games I played was on a Wii. So that's what I kept trying to say. I know you can jump on them too and you can knock them down. I may do that later, but for now... Oh my gosh. Alright, time to get down to business. Get my mask. There we go. I think you can bounce on it. It serves no purpose. There's no Easter eggs for it. But if you bounce butts when you knock them over, you can bounce. Oh, almost didn't make it past him. I don't think I've shown this yet, but I really like this death animation too. Oh, they didn't do it. There's one where it cuts him in half, isn't it? Let's try it. There it is. And his legs walk off without him. It walks down the cliff. Oh my gosh. One of the only games where I intentionally try to die. Kaboom! Hey, Top Shot, thanks for joining me. Oh. Seemed like a perfect night to do some Crash Bandicoot 3 warping. This is one of those levels that I think really showcases the graphics of Crash Bandicoot. It's got the lightning in the background, it's got the castle you can see almost from the beginning of the level. I don't think there are very many games like this on the PlayStation 1. I mean, definitely not before it, but even after, I don't think anyone was really trying to push the boundaries of what the PlayStation can do. Yeah, dude, that's alright, I'll still do it. Just for a little while longer. See the lightning in the background? Oh! Almost. There it is. And the gem. I like 2 just a bit more, but Warp is still a great game. Yeah, I was just talking about that a little bit ago. So my initial experience with Crash Bandicoot is I played Crash Bandicoot 3 first. And then I went back and played 2, and then I played 1, because I didn't get a PlayStation until after all 3 had come out. And for that reason alone, I say that Crash Bandicoot 3 is my favorite. 2 is still really good. I say it's like splitting hairs. And I think it depends on...
You little vermin are way too stupid to understand what you're getting yourselves into. This time you've done it.
That is too funny.
Now you're on my time, you little skunk! Give me the crystals!
I think Entropy is the hardest boss in the entire series. That's just me. I think I've died more times on this boss than any other one. I usually like going into this game with a mask, but I did not.
My time is up. But yours soon will be too.
I think that is the first time I've beaten this.
You insolent, insignificant morons! By defeating entropy, you have placed us all in grave risk!
Crash, Coco, you must realize that this time twister machine is very delicate. Without Dr. Entropy's constant care and control, who knows what it will do?
I like the noise that makes when you do that. Well done. Thanks, Top Shot. Really appreciate that. As I said, I think he is in my opinion, the hardest boss. Usually that's the one I can't get through without at least losing one life, but I guess I must be getting used to him. Now it's time for the Sphinxinator, probably one of my favorite names for a level in this game. And I like that they put in hieroglyphs references to Naughty Dog on here. Oh yeah, and if you didn't notice who's back here, that's back here. So you got Naughty Dog in the house and everything. And I like how they've already introduced a new play mechanic where you can do the twisting tornado. But I'm going to choose the easy path for now. I'm glad that slammed shut just before then, because I almost didn't make it there. And here's where I like my speed running. I like to speed run through those, but I don't get that until after I've beaten Cortex. I don't know how I didn't set off that TNT box. Yeah, I did get lucky there. I almost bit it, but I made up for it right there. One thing I said was kind of like a big difference between Crash Bandicoot 2 and 3, and the reason why I think I like it better is because, I mean, even the color palettes in this game and in the enclosed environments, they're a lot brighter. And I don't know if that's because I like it better because of that, or if it's just because, I don't know. I also find Crash Bandicoot 2 just a tad bit more challenging. Yeah, I think it all depends on which one you play first. Oh, I missed some boxes. What did I miss? I missed this TNT box. Huh. I really like hitting these guys when I have the bazooka. And of course, what everyone always wanted to do with these things, and they reward you for it. Another gem. Well, I played one first, but the sequels are clearly superior. Yeah, I agree with you. One thing I thought gave me a different perspective on the Crash Bandicoot series is that I think if you play them backwards, they get harder as you go back. So I think it's actually good for you to start with 3, 2 becomes a little bit more challenging, and then 1 is definitely more challenging. So the only problem with 1 is that I don't think the boss battles are very challenging in that one. Like Papu Papu is probably the easiest boss in the entire series, and Pinstripe with his machine gun, he's pretty darn easy too. The other thing that's kind of weird about this level is that I've played some flight sims on PlayStation 1, and this one, by far, just for this level and this game, I think have the best controls out of any flight sim I've played on the PS1. Just for this tiny little side level almost. More bombs. Gotta go have fun. Well, thanks for joining me, Top Spot. I really appreciate it. You know, as I've said before in one of my earlier videos, I thought it was kind of weird that, well, I find it a little ironic that the first thing I did for my channel was I actually played through the Insane trilogy, and it got like 0 views in about a month, so I decided to change up the format a little bit and go with a channel that I really wanted to do, which kind of centered a little bit around live streaming. But also the other videos that I do, so like the history and everything like that. So I definitely enjoy doing, I enjoy doing everything, so that's just kind of amazing that I can get anyone to watch the stuff that I'm doing out here with so much content that's out there. I was just commenting to someone the other day that I have so much stuff on like Netflix and Amazon that I have to watch. It's kind of insane. So I think that's all. But anyway, 20 years of this game being out there, it's one of those facts that's just going to keep getting more and more ridiculous each year, as that Crash is just going to keep getting older and older. He's 22 so far. And I'm just waiting until either Activision or whoever else comes up with the next actual good Crash Bandicoot game. Because I think Crash can be better than just these 3 games. I mean, honestly, I kind of enjoyed the Wrath of Cortex personally. I didn't enjoy Twinsanity as much. I thought it was an okay game, but it just doesn't feel like Crash Bandicoot. I mean, it's a lot more different than the rest of the series. And then I also played Crash the Titans on the Wii, which was, again, I don't think it was as good as Twinsanity, but it's one of those games that I felt it doesn't really feel like Crash. So, kind of reminds me of Sonic the Hedgehog, actually. Kind of peaked a bit too early and then sat dormant for years till another developer, or at least a fan, had to come along and create something like Sonic Mania that was finally decent enough to be revered by all the fans. So hopefully Crash Bandicoot will be following the examples set by that's not going to get it easier. That's not. Of course. Whoops. more bucks. There's not really enough room to maneuver. Let me get back and use the... There, I got it. Oh. All that again. Oh, I didn't make it. Come on. There we go. And so those are probably my least, the second least favorite levels in the entire game.
So, Crash Bandicoot, we meet again. Uka Uka and Dr. Cortex want me to teach you a lesson. Well, I've made a few modifications to my mechanics since our last encounter. So back off or be deleted.
Hey, welcome back, Nick. I always wait for these to change before I jump over them. Oh no! I did the wrong jump. Oh, did I get your message on Twitter? Let me check. Sorry, hold on. Yeah, sorry, I must have completely missed it. Yeah, it looks like I did get a message. Perfect. I'll respond to that when I'm done with the stream here. Yeah, sorry about that. I completely missed it. I've been getting a lot of spam messages lately. Well, not just lately, but I've been getting a lot of spam messages, so I bet you I just ignored it when all those came in. A whole bunch of people who want to say, oh... I mean, basically it's... I don't know. I mean, yeah, I've thought about it too, but a lot of the spam messages I get are, hey, thanks for following me, like and subscribing to my YouTube channel, and sub for sub, and oh, I'd like to do this and that, and it's all robotic messages. So I got a lot of those this week, more than usual, and sorry, it just got mixed in with everything else. Yeah, actually the messaging system for Instagram is probably the one that I overlook the most because I keep forgetting it's there, and their notifications to me are not as noticeable as on other platforms. That was lucky. So usually I'm a lot better at checking Twitter, but I guess this time I wasn't. Oh, what was that? Boxes are jumping like high up in the air. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. Whew. Well, as I predicted, I'm getting less and less, not getting as many gems as I was in the beginning of the game. But I guess if this game could be beaten in one playthrough, they wouldn't have had as much success as they used to. I really appreciated the title of Tomb Raider. Because yeah, I guess that they included these levels specifically because of Tomb Raider, which I always associated with. I always associated Tomb Raider with PlayStation, and up until I was thrifting the other day, and I got that Tomb Raider for Sega Saturn. I guess I kind of forgot that it came out for other platforms too. I know it was on PC and everything. I remember the big thing was, the big thing was when it came out on PlayStation. I thought if I did that, I would get both those boxes, but I'll do that. Correctly, I want to get these first. Yeah, I forgot how to get past that. I'll try that again. Oh, you know, one thing I forgot about up until just now? Crash's shadow on the bottom is not just a circle. Like when his arm swings out, you can see his arm shadow on there. I remember that they made a big deal about that when they were... Nope. Oh. I know you're supposed to double jump and do that twister thing, but I just can't do it. I usually get through that with the bazooka. So I'll just have to wait till then. But yeah, I remember that was a big thing that they said it was a huge technological achievement, is that Crash's shadow wasn't just a circle anymore. Whenever he casts a shadow, it's his whole body instead of just a circle. Because that was a new feature. I'm pretty sure that's a new feature to this game, because they didn't have that in Crash Bandicoot 2. Yep. Oh, the death path still exists. I thought it was going to disappear because I died at the... I died on the checkpoint. This is another one of those... It's a lot easier once you get certain power-ups, but I'll try it here. Nope, I'm gonna have to do that again. My timing's all off. I did it, got the blue gem. But if I'm right, I didn't get the actual crystal. So I gotta go through this level again. You're being greedy again, yep. Yeah. I know, I told myself I wasn't going to go for any of the gems this time, and I told myself I was just going to beat the game. But, I don't know, what can I tell you? I always end up doing things I know is not a good idea right before I do them, and then I'm always surprised at the result when it goes bad. Oops, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. Oh. Go back for that TNT. If I was being greedy, I'd try to keep going, but probably shouldn't do that. I'm not going to go for it this time. You know what though, if I had that mask going through that question mark, I bet you I could have made it through it. Because I'd hit the nitro box and then it'd set everything off, and I'd be fine. But this is where I sit there with a bazooka and hit all these boxes while the water's high. I am so glad that you can't spin the crystals away, because I don't know how many times I would do that if that was actually a thing to do in this game. I'm sure that would have added an extra layer of challenge that would have just drove us all crazy as kids and made the game not as good. Going to be tough. I can get it. I gotta tell you, this game is much easier than assembling that IKEA from. Maybe not the high road. Okay. This is a good boss battle. I really enjoy playing Engine on this one.
So, you want to go a few rounds? When this is over, we'll see who's obsolete.
Then he flies off into outer space.
It's funny how history repeats itself. Yet again, Engine has failed to defeat you.
For this we must destroy you!
Oh, my aching head. I'm not feeling myself these days. So the end is in sight. Gather another 5 crystals, and again you will have foiled my plan. Or will you?
Oh yeah, I really like that boss battle. I almost didn't make it through it that time, though. I almost died. 16% left or something like that. Whew. Excuse me. Off to the last world, which is the Future City. I gotta say, I think these futuristic levels are probably the most creatively designed. They remind me a little bit of the space levels in Crash Bandicoot 2. But I really don't mind these levels when you're able to use the Fruit Bazooka. I really overuse this thing. This is my favorite of the Crash Bandicoot power-ups. And here's one thing I didn't know. So I didn't realize you can actually spin him until I saw somebody else do it. I thought you had to hit him with the bazooka. So I saw it from someone else. Now they did it a lot better than I did because I actually ran into him before I actually got him. So here we go. So you can get him either one of those two ways. I thought that was insane. I don't know who I saw do that when they spun him. He actually disappeared, but I thought that was a glitch. Like, how did you just go ahead and spin? Nope. Nope. As I said, I overuse that bazooka. I think you need to do Disruptor next. Oh, that is a definite possibility. I do own Disruptor. I haven't played it in a long time. I had only got it because I knew it was. I knew it was going to be. I knew it was Insomniac's first game. But I was actually thinking the next thing I would do would be maybe the Spyro trilogy. At least the first Spyro. I'll tell you this though, I haven't beat Spyro the Dragon in a long time. That was a game series where I actually beat Ripto's Rage first. I got Ripto's Rage first. And then I got the first one, and then I played the third one. So I didn't play any of these series in order, apparently. But I gotta tell you, it's been ages since I beat Spyro the Dragon at all. But I could start out with Disruptor. Start with Disruptor before I go to that, and then end with Spider-Man. You know what I'd really love to do eventually sometime on here? I know it's probably going to be a while until I get to it, but I'd really like to play through Ratchet & Clank. I have the Ratchet & Clank HD trilogy for PS3. I also have it for PSP, I think. Yes, I have it for PSP. You know what? I'm not coming back for it this time. But I'd love to do Disruptor and probably start with that before I go through Spyro the Dragon. And this might be the first. That might be the first time I might be able to get through the Spyro games before the new one comes out. I remember it took me a long time to get used to how to aim that bazooka, but now it's just second nature to me. That'd be good too. Yeah. I don't think Insomniac's made a bad game. honestly. I think the same thing for, I don't know, I like Naughty Dog stuff, but there's one game, I don't know. They were all over the map with Jak and Daxter. I actually didn't care for Jak 2. I thought it was too much like Grand Theft Auto. And I kept thinking to myself, if I wanted to play Grand Theft Auto, I would play Grand Theft Auto. Because it was set up the same exact way. Now, coming back and playing it, I see what they were trying to go for. But I don't know. It's kind of like Naughty Dog only goes after the series that they know are they hit at the moment. Because when they did Uncharted, it's a third-person shooter. But that's back when, Resistance Fall of Man was out too from Insomniac, so... I don't know. I don't know if my thoughts are making any sense at this point, but... Insomniac and Naughty Dog, those are just two gaming studios I have a lot of respect for, just because they're... I'm sure... I was trying to think, Naughty Dog doesn't really have anyone from these days of Crash Bandicoot, I don't think. None of the big guns from Crash Bandicoot really survived past Crash Bandicoot. Or at least until, Forsaken on N64 is a great game. I did pick that up, but I have not played through it yet. I played it to test it to make sure it worked. But if you've seen my game collection, you can understand there's a few of them I haven't gotten to yet. I heard you talk about Forsaken last time, I think, didn't I? Yeah, I think you were the one who was talking about that. Because I remember I had to ask, I don't know if it was on my stream, but I thought it was on a different stream. But I definitely do want to get to Forsaken eventually. I don't think that would be a live stream. I'm very hesitant to play a game on a live stream that I have not played before. Because I did that with, oh, I forgot which one it was. I think it was Captain America and the Avengers, that arcade game. I didn't do a very good job with that one. So... I think it's a lot more enjoyable replaying a game that I've... Because the first time I play a game, I want to focus on having a good time and enjoying the game, learning it. I don't want to have to be like, okay, well, I'm taking too long on this level, and I need to get through it so people will keep watching, that kind of thing. Oh! I gotta tell you, this is the best I've ever done in this race the first time, so I'm probably just gonna jinx myself. I forgot how pushy these guys get after this level. Don't pass me. No. Don't hit me either. I think that's a first. That is the first time I've beaten this level on the first try. And I remember thinking, great, this is the last road course level I'm going to have to play in this game. It's not. I don't particularly dislike them, but I think that they're just harder. They're different than the rest of the game. It's racing rather than platforming. And then I came across Area 51, or whatever that sign is, and I was like, oh, now I've got to beat this level. Forsaken on N64 is a great game, that's why I keep it on N64. Yeah, it's not that expensive either, if I remember correctly. At least when I bought Forsaken, if I remember correctly, it was less than $10. Don't quote me on that on the top of my head. No, I'm facing the wrong way. I like the little cinders they leave when they're behind. $6.99 for that one? Yeah. I thought I remember that not being a very expensive game. I really like picking up. I mean, I think that some of the best games on the consoles are going to be the cheap ones because those should be the ones that everyone bought. The ones that are expensive and ultra rare, the ones that nobody bought, you have to wonder, is it because they weren't very good? Or was it because, you know, of some other reason? Disruptor goes up to $100. Jeez. Really? I guess I've had Disruptor now. Oh, almost. I guess I must have had Disruptor for a while because I don't remember paying for that. I guess I have because I remember I bought it from GameStop. Back when GameStop still sold PS1 games. I think I got it for clearance, and I know it's complete in box. I just gotta figure out where I put it. My PS1 collection, PS2 collection, all those are the ones that are kind of scattered at the moment. I'm thinking though, once I get through Disruptor, I should probably sell it. I should probably sell it on eBay. Then yeah, I was just saying, look for it on eBay. That kind of surprises me. There's not too many PS1 games that are getting up that price. I mean, I'm sure it's eventually going to change. But here's one thing. Do you remember... I remember back in the day having this discussion with either one of my friends or one of my brothers. I remember saying, oh, you know, I got to make sure I get the black label PlayStation games because the green labels aren't going to be worth as much. You know, when they start collecting these things. I was thinking about that way back in the day. But I remember that was back before the video game collecting market was even really invented yet. That was back when everyone still thought that Atari was way too old to even care about it anymore, and it was just going to be obsolete. Nobody wanted to play it anymore. So that mentality still struck me when I bought Final Fantasy VII. I bought it for, oh, forgot about that guy. I bought it from GameStop when they were doing all their, oh, that was, yeah, that was, so I bought the Greatest Hits version when GameStop had it on clearance back in 2001, and years later I found it at a Goodwill. I found the Black Label version and I bought it, just in case that actually holds true. I don't know if I see, because it's just like right now with the regular Nintendo games. They're now differentiating between the 5-screw version of the game and the 3-screw version. Really? I only missed one? Oh, I know which box I missed. Hang on, I'll get it. The links went way up in price. Oh, yeah. It's the most expensive stuff are the things that nobody ever thought anything of. That's the box I missed right there. It's just out of sight. There it is. Let's see. Why is this guy so hard to hit? Like when I first started looking at collecting game consoles, one of the things I want to get is a Jaguar, and those have always been expensive. But like 10 years ago, they were like $200, and I'm like, all right, you know, let's say I wanted to get one today, I'd have to spend double that today. And the Jaguar isn't really, in my opinion, it's not a good console. It's not really worth collecting just to play. It's like you're collecting it because you're hoping the value will keep going up. So I don't know. I'm a big fan of collecting things that I'm going to play, not necessarily things that I'm just going to...
Crash, Coco, remember, it is not only Dr. Cortex that we battle. Beware of Uka Uka, my children. He is a far more dangerous enemy than anyone can imagine.
Can't wait to start collecting again. Yeah, I hear you. I went through a couple rough periods where I actually started collecting right after I got out of college, but that was at a time when I couldn't find a job. I had a hard time finding a job in what my degree is in, and I just couldn't afford to keep my video game collection and keep doing it, so eventually I ended up having to sell off. Like I had an N64 that I had purchased, and I had to sell it off. And when I did get my job, and it's been a few years since, and I started collecting again, I had to rebuy all the stuff that I had sold. And that was, I think, just kind of a waste. So I'm hoping that I don't have to... Oops. I'm missing the boxes. Yes, I want to get the boxes first. But one thing I never sold was my PlayStation collection. Just going to depend. Can't wait to start collecting in. Just me, you, going to depend how much you sell most of the time. Spend, yeah. The only thing that survived my initial sell-off were the things that weren't worth any money. And at the time, that was PlayStation. Nothing was collectible for PlayStation. I need a health balloon. Goodness. Let's get it. There we go. I don't remember this level being as difficult as it is. That guy, if he would have got one more bullet on me, I would be better. When I had to sell off things, I didn't sell off anything that was original to my collection, so I sold off all the Super Nintendo games that I didn't already have as a kid. I mean, that was just, I call that a very sad time. But thankfully, I do have a job now. Oops, did I get the one? Yes, I did. No more health boxes. So, yeah. I feel like to get some of the things I sold off before, like I had a complete in-box copy of Conker's Bad Fur Day, which is always expensive. When I bought it again, I had to pay more than I sold it for the first time. Yeah. So, anyway, kind of the end of that story. Not trying to sound too tragic, but... Yeah, thankfully, I've never been in the position where I have to sell off things that have been original in my collection. And anything I say that's original in my collection are things that I bought or were purchased for me when I was a kid. Like, I still have my original childhood Nintendo. We probably had about 7 or 8 games for it, and I never had to get rid of those 7 or 8 games. So we had, like, Punch-Out, Super Mario 1, Super Contra, or Super C. Whoops, it's closer than I thought. So all of those stayed with my collection, and then we had a Super Nintendo, again, with only about, probably a few more games with them, because that was when I started buying games really cheap from clearance sections. So like I got Super Empire Strikes Back, and for the life of me, I wish I could find where I put the box. Because I used to have the entire Super Star Wars trilogy. I bought it from KB Toys when they closed down in our area. And I got it for like 99 cents each. It was something ridiculous. And I had the boxes for them all, but I can't find them. I'm assuming that at one point in time, they ended up getting thrown away, thinking they were garbage. Not for me. I'm assuming my parents threw them away or something like that, but... I'm just trying to get through this level. Oh, I already have the blue gem. I forgot I could probably go for that. And now for my favorite part of this level. As I said, I'm just trying to get through this level. I really like it when they give you those 3 masks towards the end, kind of making it a little bit easier for you.
I'm sorry. This is the part where I'm supposed to be angry, full of rage, incensed beyond belief. Once again, you have outsmarted and outspun my best henchman. I should be rather upset, shouldn't I?
And in fact, we're furious! But it seems you have overlooked one small detail, you little orange delivery boy. Now that you have gathered all the crystals, all we have to do is take them from you! Crash Bandicoot, for the last time! Give the crystals to me!
Ah. And that is all she wrote, my friends.
Defeated again? This is not fair! Maybe I should retire to a nice big beach with a nice big drink and a woman with nice big bags of ice for my head.
It's not over, Bandicoot. There are still the gems. We still have a chance to
Whew. Well, that is the Crash Bandicoot trilogy on the PlayStation 1. Thanks, I appreciate it. Whew. I'm glad you suggested this to do this. I was a little skeptical of doing it, mainly because I'd already done the Insane trilogy, but I like going back and playing the first one. So, definitely happy that I went back and did it. This is also one that I really like the alternate ending that they do for this. And in fact, maybe I can try to find... Let's see if I can find it. No, that's not what I want. I'll be back in just a second here. I'm going to finish up here in just a second. I'll be right back. Alright, well, I'm trying something here real quick that I'm going to end with. But before I do want to thank everyone who stopped by for watching, especially those of you who came back. Thanks, Nick, for joining me all the way through. There was also Top Spot 123, and of course, Nessology. Really appreciate you stopping by. If you come back and watch this the stream, another shout out to you as well. Before I wrap things up completely, I'm just going to say I don't know when the next live stream is going to be. Mainly because, like I said, I'm working 2 jobs and my schedule's got to line up. And apparently the planets have to align as well, so before I can decide it. But Disruptor has been suggested as my next project, and I'm definitely willing to try that one out. I do own it for PS1, but I could also go to another system if that's what you guys want to see out there. I do want to do Spyro the Dragon, which will probably be happening before the next before the Reignited trilogy comes out. I initially had planned it that way, but I didn't think I was going to make it because they pushed back the launch date for it. And I was very surprised that I was able to. You know what? I don't have any free ports to try what I was going to do. I was going to try showing. I want the ability to be able to show a video when I'm done, kind of recapping everything. But I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be able to do that. I wanted to try it out on the PlayStation and see if the PlayStation 3 will do it. But I know as soon as I get out of the game, it's going to make me restart my stream because the resolution is going to change. So I think I'll just end it here. My little experiment will have to wait until I can better plan it. I was just going to see if I can play my video capture at the 100% ending that I have. Since I actually don't have my 100% save on this PS3, it's actually on my other one. So yeah. I could keep going for the relics. Maybe I'll do that a different time, but I guess until now, unless you guys got anything else, I'm going to go ahead and call it quits for tonight. So again, thanks for joining me. Stay tuned for my next stream where it'll probably be either Spyro the Dragon or Disruptor. We'll see. I might put a Twitter poll out to see what everyone else thinks, but other than that, you guys have a great night. Yeah, I'll probably just do when I do my review of the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, now that I've done all 3 on the live stream, I'll probably just include the 100% endings on there. But I think 3 has my favorite 100% ending, so that's why I wanted to show it on here. Alright, I guess for the 3rd and final time, have a great night. I'll see you guys next time.